This is the witches and the virgin part 2. Alright, as Nneoma's fame grew, she began to receive proposals from suitors across the land. Many sought her hand in marriage, drawn by her beauty, kindness, and spiritual power. However, Nneoma remained devoted to her duties as a virgin, dedicating herself to the gods and to the well-being of her community. One suitor, a young man named Nnamdi from Egbenuno, a neighboring kingdom, caught her attention. He was kind, intelligent, and respectful of her traditions. Nnamdi was different from the others as he didn't seek to claim Nneoma's powers or fame for himself. Instead, he wanted to support and love her for who she was. Nneoma fell completely in love with him. Nneoma's parents, seeing the good in Nnamdi, gave their blessing for the couple to marry. However, Nneoma hesitated, feeling a calling to remain a virgin. She prayed to the gods, seeking guidance. Molo, her mother, queried, being fully worried about her hesitation to marry Nnamdi. The gods responded through Eze Chukwu, who revealed that Nneoma's destiny was not to be a wife, but to be a leader and a symbol of hope for her people. Nneoma, understanding her role, gently declined Nnamdi's proposal. This was a bone Nnamdi could not swallow. Nnamdi, though disappointed, respected Nneoma's decisions. He chose to remain in Abugo, supporting Nneoma and the community, and together they would work to build a brighter future for the village. Meanwhile, Adaeze and her coven of witches plotted their next move. They discovered that Nneoma's powers were not just tied to the river, but also to a sacred tree within the forest. If they could destroy the tree, they would weaken Nneoma's connection to the gods. The witches snuck into the forest, intent on destroying the tree. However, Nneoma, sensing their plan, had set a trap. The tree was protected by powerful charms, which repelled the witches and sent them fleeing. The witches, enraged and exhausted, turned on Adaeze, demanding she produce results. Adaeze, desperate to salvage her reputation, proposed a final desperate plan. This time, they would kidnap Nneoma during the upcoming harvest festival. When the village would be distracted by celebrations, the witches would then sacrifice Nneoma, draining her powers and plunging Abugo into darkness. This is a very serious story. The harvest festival approached and the villagers were prepared for a grand celebration. Nneoma, unaware of the witch's plan, worked with Nnamdi to make the festival a worthwhile. As the celebration commenced, the villagers danced and sang, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. Nneoma, with her heightened senses, detected the witch's presence, but it was too late. Nnamdi has been possessed and has poisoned Nneoma's food. Nneoma fainted amidst the joyful celebration. The witches came with a heavy, mighty rushing wind and swept Nneoma away, and the community broke into two. No one could believe their eyes as the 6 witches took Nneoma flying in the air. Adaeze with the ring led the charge against Nneoma, but Eze Chukwu was ready, armed with charms and protective amulets, making enchantments to save her and to save Nnamdi, who now behaved like a wizard. The witches clashed with Eze Chukwu and they struck him, and Eze Chukwu fell flat on the ground. Jubilation erupted in their kingdom. The witch drums beat widely and the witches danced hysterically with mimicry. Nneoma lay half dead alongside with Eze Chukwu, while the witches commenced processions to kill them. Adaeze rose her sword to the thin air and offered strange enchantments to the thin air. She summoned the ancient powers of the witches, and smoke covered the scene with strange sounds. She called upon Abalanze, the biggest wizard in Abugo, and he appeared to slay Nneoma and Eze Chukwu. The air filled with the sound of chanting as Adaeze's voice echoed through the thick smoke that enveloped the coven, and Abalanze struck Eze Chukwu to death Immediately, Nwanyuhe appeared. She was Nneoma's late great-grandmother, and she was a witch. She stopped the killing of her daughter, but Agbalanze disappeared. Agbalanze was so nice to the witches, such that he does not behold their corpse. Because of Nwanyuhe, he disappeared. The witches stumbled back, their powers weakening under Nwanyuhe powerful presence. Adaeze, enraged, launched at Nneoma with a poisoned dagger, but Nwanyuhe intervened, disarming the witch and sending her stumbling to the ground. Nwanyuhe bound Adaeze with sacred ropes that rendered her powers useless. She woke Nneoma and they disappeared. They vanished into the air, but Eze Chukwu was gone. This is part 2 of the witches and the virgin. Part 3 is coming. Let us see how Nneoma will cope with her new condition and how the village, the entire community of Akpugo will survive this, the loss of Eze Chukwu, and how Nnamdi would recover from his new position as a possessed wizard in Akpugo. Let us watch out and see what the story has for us.